All right, there I am. I'm going to start recording now. I've already got about an hour into reading this stuff. And I had to get back into the book of Exodus. I'm sitting at my desk, reading my Bible, and I'm talking to myself, like I've been saying. These are my own opinions, but I have an opinion on what God is saying, not me. All right? Book of Exodus, chapter 18. What happened a long time ago is so relevant today. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, this guy's a priest. Let me see if I can correct that light a little bit. The priest of Midian, all right? This guy knows God. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses's, how about that for a word? Moses's father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Now we're entering right into the middle of the story about Moses. He already did his 400 years. Not him, he wasn't 400 years old, but Israel was over there in bondage in Egypt. This is just before Moses was supposed to go into the promised land, but he didn't get there. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I have been an alien in a strange land. That's Moses talking. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for the God of my father, said he, was mine help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. This is Moses explaining that God saved him. Now, there was a whole country, or a whole country's worth of people, strong armies, that could have taken Moses down. But they did not. Why? Because God protected him. Remember I talked about the hedge, the circle that's placed around you, consisting of 2 circles, an inner and an outer circle? The inner circle, and I've said this a number of times already, the inner circle has a bunch of angels that are aiming in towards you and all that you possess. The outer circle, they're looking out and they're protecting from anything that might come at the commandment of God. All right? Now, what wants to get to Moses? The devil. The devil would like to kill Moses. The devil would like to kill me for doing this. He's not going to do it. I'm going to die of old age. I already know that. Moses knew it. Let's read some more. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he encamped at the Mount of God. You ever go camping somewhere and know that God was living right over there? Or that his presence can be right over there? And you could see it and hear it? You're going to hear about some of this stuff in a couple of minutes. And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law Jethro, am come unto thee, and thy wife and her two sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance. Obeisance. He bowed to him. He revered him. Jethro was a priest. And kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent. Moses' tent. And Moses told his father-in-law, well, I don't really know if that was Moses' tent or Jethro's tent. One or the other. I kind of think it was Moses' tent, though. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Lord delivered them. The Lord delivered them. He can deliver us. Now, what do you do to get the Lord to draw close to you? You seek him diligently by reading his word and following his commandments. That's what Moses did. These are the books of Moses here. All right? Moses sought the Lord diligently. If you read all the stories, it'll prove it. And guess what? He found God. And you can do the same thing. I do it. I do it every day. I don't walk alone anymore. I kind of think I didn't walk alone when I wasn't seeking him, because some of the stuff I got involved in, wasn't too cool, but I made it through it. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know. Now this is Jethro talking, and he's a priest. He's the one that worshiped God, and he probably did sacrifices and all that stuff. But here, now he's going to admit that, listen to the words he said. After all of this, I don't know how old the guy was there. It says it somewhere in here. He says this. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods. Huh? Because of this stuff. Now the question went out from many people for years. When God told Moses to go before Pharaoh these many times to tell him to let his people go, etc., and he wouldn't do it, God is the one who hardened the heart of Pharaoh. Now, why did he do it? He made it plain so that everybody would know that the Lord is God and the earth is the Lord's, and he is the all-powerful one. That's why. Listen to this one here again. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods. For in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. Speaking of God. And Jethro Moses' father-in-law took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God, and Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. They had a meal together. Can you dig that? Now I'm excited inside. And I realize that there might be some people listening here that don't know this story and they can't really comprehend what's going on here. But if you keep doing it enough and allow God to reveal stuff to you a little at a time, because there's so much, you can't do a whole bunch at once. A little at a time, you'll understand what happened. And it came to pass on the morrow, in other words, tomorrow, that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone? And all the people stand by thee from morning unto even. There's thousands of them. He's judging the people. He's the judge. These people are, well, not everybody made it through the wilderness. All the people that were 20 years old and older when they came out of Egypt perished in the wilderness. And they were in the wilderness 40 years. And they were arguing and doing all kinds of stuff. And Moses had to judge him, and he had to be the peacemaker, right? This was going to drive him nuts. And Jethro saw this. Jethro is a priest. God guides Jethro. And this is what Jethro said. And Moses said unto his father-in-law, Because the people came unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. Now the statutes of God and his laws are written in this book. You are supposed to read it, so you'll know the statutes of God and his laws. And that's where the peace comes from, and the harmony, and the prosperity, etc. Is that happening in the United States today? Absolutely not. I saw on TV a meeting in Washington with Donald Trump and a whole bunch of Republicans and demon craps around this big table. That must have been the Oval Office because it was round, right? And they were talking about all the laws that have to get passed here real quick to take care of some illegal folks from different countries and building the wall, doing a bunch of stuff like this, right? All the demon craps don't want it to happen. Now, I saw sitting there to Donald Trump's left was Steny Hoyer. He's a demon crap. And on the other side of him, on his right side, was Dick Durbin. He's a demon crap also. And they hate Donald Trump. Yet they have to be there. Why? Because Chuck Schumer, number one, and what's that broad's name out there in California? Oh, Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi. She's number two. No, she's number two in the House. She's the speaker of the minority people. But she's a demon crap. And neither one of them would go because they have an agenda. And they didn't want to be at this meeting here because they're going to do something else. And you'll find out about that in a very near future. So they send these other cronies in there to do battle with Donald Trump and the rest of the Republicans. Okay, I have to stop there because I could talk for hours on that. But listen to this again. When they have a matter, picture Donald Trump, they come unto me. Now there's a matter or matters that need to be settled in the U.S., in the government. That's what's going on. Now, are they allowing God to be in control of that matter? Did you hear anybody invoke God to be there and to ask for his guidance? Absolutely not. There are no godly people in that room, in my opinion. That's my opinion. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. In other words, Donald Trump is supposed to reply with what God would command in these matters and how to settle them. Does he do that? I didn't see it. And you know damn right well them demon craps and other Republicans that have been in there for a long time, that are only in there for their own joy, none of them are going to do it. You don't hear anybody asking for God's help or allowing somebody to read from this book in that meeting for some kind of godly counsel. It doesn't happen. It simply does not happen. And I don't know anywhere where this does happen outside of this room where I'm sitting, because I only say stuff here that God says. I repeat his word, that's all. And then I give my own opinion. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's pretty cool. I'm spitting all over myself here. All right. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Now, he's not talking about giving him the statutes and law. He's talking about doing all of this to drive himself nuts. All right, I got like 1 minute left here. Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. This was a very wise, godly priest. And who was guiding his words? Who was putting words in Jethro's mouth? God. Absolutely awesome. I love it. All right, I got to stop this thing for a second, but you won't even know it. I'll be right back.